Hi, my name is Chandler. I'm a recovering attorney and an avid adventurer.
And I'm Ashton, former nanny. I don't know what else I want to be. We're gonna figure it out.
And this is our dog Millie. She is a 1-year-old Scottish Terrier with a lot of personality. For years, we were working the corporate grind in New York City. Even though we were making a lot of money and living what many people would consider to be the high life, we often found that free time was non-existent. That's where Vandit came in. Vandit is a 1999 Dodge Ram van conversion. Now we are traveling the country trying to steal as many tomorrows as we can before the real world catches up. After not nearly enough planning, it was time to set Phase 2 of our Great Tomorrow heist into action and head off on a road trip from New York to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Alright, this is adventure number 1 without Ashton.
So it's not adventure number 1. Hello.
Millie is here also. She's very cozy. That trip would be nearly 1,500 miles one way, so it was going to be a hectic couple of days. I was able to get some time off work, while Ashton unfortunately had to stay behind and then join us in Tulsa a few days after we arrived. My least favorite memory of van life was leaving the train station without Ashton. Millie cried out for close to 15 minutes so loud that Ashton could hear her from the train station. For the next hour or so, when I glanced back, Millie was staring outside our back window and waiting for Ashton to come back. With my newfound freedom, I immediately beelined a course for Gettysburg National Battlefield. Although I could only spend a couple of hours here, I loved seeing the area around Little Round Top. I'm thinking of putting together some videos about my history-based explorations, but that's a topic for another time.
That I paint, but I keep on losing in, till I've lost the only thoughts that keep me sane.
Before I really had time to process it, day 1 turned to day 2, and I was headed towards St. Louis and Missouri. I spent the next night near historic Route 66, and decided that for the 3rd day, I would ditch the freeway and do some good old-fashioned slow travel on the old road. I love this part of the drive. Well, it probably doubled my travel time. It was great seeing some of the history of travel embodied in these small towns. I particularly loved the town of Cuba, Missouri, where I spent some time exploring the local Route 66 murals. It was a great opportunity to see the history of this little town.
I think that I need to rearrange things. I'll be a man.
Of course, no Route 66 trip would be complete without some oddball attractions, like the world's largest rocking chair. Well, welcome to Uranus. This is Missouri, not Mississippi, Missouri. This is the world's largest belt buckle, right there. This is a really cool place. Lots of cool antiques. I mean, they've got a old double-decker bus over here. Oklahoma City, St. Louis, Chicago, and Uranus. All the big cities of the Midwest. It's pretty cool. After Uranus, I was alerted that some pretty severe weather was moving into the area, so I cut my exploration short and booked it the rest of the way to Tulsa. Vandit had already passed its first big test. I had made it halfway across the country, and aside from the starter acting up, everything went as planned. After a couple days in Tulsa, Ashton finally joined us. Millie, who is it? Millie, who is it?
Hi, baby! Oh, hello! Hello! Hi! Oh my gosh, hello! Hello! Oh Okay, oh my gosh, hi. Hello. Can I get in? Can I get in?
Nope.
I know, oh my gosh. Okay. Millie, you're hurting me. Hi, okay. No, calm down. Hi. Hello.
Since purchasing the Vandit, Ashton and I had discussed the numerous van projects that we wanted to undertake. Unfortunately, the reality of living in New York City prevented us from taking on most of these jobs, and we ended up liking the current layout of the van more than previously expected. However, we decided that new curtains were necessary. Are those the final two choices?
I think so. I feel like this one will be easier to like take down and wash, but I mean it depends on what we put on the other side.
I don't know how much we're going to be taking the curtains off the racks to wash either. So, how you doing, Ashton?
I'm working hard.
How's van projects coming along?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. So we haven't put up our blinds, our shades yet, but we think that's going to work. What's maybe more interesting is we were told when we purchased the van that all the lighting had been disconnected in the back. Well, we just found out, and we have little random
Weird
mood
lights.
lights.
Why?
Demo day 2020. Come on, Ashton.
Give me a knife. This one I might need a little help with, but you know, we're just gonna do it anyway.
Got it?
I think so.
Good job.
Put it in a little too tight, but you know, whatever.
There we go.
Almost.
There we go. It just came out.
This side, it kind of sucks because of the bed.
Well, on both of those, because the curtain's going to be below where the bed is, but I think we're just going to have it tucked in. It'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll be good.
Gotta rip this thing off. Oh. Welcome to the blue whale of Catoosa. What do you think about Catoosa, sweetie?
Good.
It's very bright. The sun's right in our eye. After successfully installing the curtain bars, we left the fabric to be sewed and spent some quality time with Ashton's family. However, we were constrained by work and thus began preparations for a return trip, this time together. I also admittedly couldn't resist the allure of one more Wacky Route 66 attraction and the prospect of another battlefield tour, this time at Wilson's Creek. I took a ton of videos at Wilson's Creek, and I think it's a really underrated attraction. Ashton was also a good sport while I geeked out over various battlefield maps and old cannons. What are you doing, Millie? You appreciating the battlefield? Our route on that first day took us all of the way from Tulsa, Oklahoma to past Louisville in Kentucky, which was way longer than I ever hoped to spend on the road in one day. One of the aspects of van life that really excites me is the idea that you can take your time and see what you want to see. We'd seen a lot in this trip, but I still hoped that future journeys would be a little less hectic, so that we could actually take some time and enjoy the journey. Day 2 of our return trip would see us pass through West Virginia, and hopefully get us all of the way back to our parking lot near Peekskill. The drive started out perfect, and I was feeling pretty awesome about our purchase at this point. We were both a little tired, but it seemed like luck was on our side, and we hadn't experienced too many real major mechanical issues up to this point. Okay, so here's basically where we're at. We're at Valvoline oil change place because we've been having issues with our sensor that is showing 0 oil pressure, which is bad. It's been doing this off and on today, which we think it might be the sensor because I checked the oil before we left Tulsa and everything looked okay. But it's possible we've sprung a leak or there's some other issue. So we're here getting it checked out. Car's also struggling to start again. So basically...
That might have to do with the oil problem now.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens, you know. Hopefully we'll get this resolved and...
all our issues will go away.
Yeah, hopefully it's just the oil sensor. But, this is what happens when you get a 20-year-old van. You know, you're gonna have maintenance issues, so.
You buy problems.
You buy problems. Okay, so we talked to the oil people. They're super nice, super helpful. Apparently we've got a significant oil leak. The only full-service repair garage here in West Virginia is closed on Sundays. So basically, we've got some extra oil and we are going to try and get home. Or get as close to home as possible and get it repaired. I mean, it's like we've driven thousands of miles so far in this thing, so I have no idea why it's, how something this significant would spring up, but, it's one of those things where I'm glad we stopped, or else this could have been really, really bad, really, really fast. Little nervous driving away from Charleston because that's where a lot of the auto repair shops and stuff is. There's not a whole lot else further up this road. So, but there's some auto zones, so, I guess we'll just keep feeding it oil if we need to get to another city. So, we're in for an adventurous ride home. Never said it would be boring.
Close your eyes.
You can't see us, but we're actually hanging out in bed after our first night in the van. We'll try to show you some pictures or videos of our sleeping arrangement. Millie's down by our feet where she's not supposed to be. She was supposed to be sleeping on the dresser drawers, but she managed to sneak back onto the bed anyways, despite it being a twin. It's raining really hard right now. I'm supposed to be getting ready for work, but we're both pretty cozy. So,
plus it's cold outside the blankets.
It's really cold. So this is our sleeping setup. Woohoo! It's a mess up there. Let's not look up there. This is our sleeping setup.
Yeah,
she uncovered our feet to steal all the blankets. Ow, so bright. But yep, this is van life
This is Van Life Morning 1.
Good morning.
Good morning, Vietnam. Woo. We decided that if we couldn't be cozy, Millie couldn't be cozy either. She was like, no. She's like, no, my warm little spot. She like whimpered and licked us like, why did you do that? So it is about 55 degrees in the van, but overall not too bad. And the moment you've all been waiting for. Our makeshift bed setup. We've got sleeping bag, quilts. Millie stole my spot. Overall, pretty nice. Pretty cozy night. I woke up a few times through it. It wasn't my most restful sleep, but once I figured out how I needed to sleep, it was okay. So after how many tries?
I don't know, like 70.
Like 25 tries and 15 minutes.
Yeah. It was more like 30 minutes.
Like 30 minutes, we finally have a car that starts.
Woohoo!
So that has been added to our list. We've got an oil leak. We've got a starter that's a little bit problematic, won't start when it's cold. I want to get the antifreeze checked and the heater. And emissions testing. So these are all things that we have to deal with. These are the joys of owning a vehicle. I mean, really any vehicle, it's not just limited to vans. It's just what happens when you have a car with 90,000 miles that's 21 years old. This car's legally allowed to drink.
The world could fall down, it's gonna be okay. The sun could go out, we're gonna be okay. If all the blue skies fade to
The trip was really a mixed bag at this point. On one hand, we'd made it over 3,000 miles from New York to Tulsa and back again. We spent our first night in the van and felt pretty good about van life. Unfortunately, there were quite a few mechanical issues nagging us at this point. Ashton and I were completely worn out by the time we caught our train, so the only record we have of the ride back are these two photos. We were both so exhausted and ready for a warm apartment and a nap. 2 days later, we both tested positive for COVID-19.